My fiancé insisted I meet her ex at a bar to prove I wasn't jealous. He spent an hour mocking me while she laughed, then said, "Congrats, you passed." I just smiled and paid the bill. This morning after 50 ignored calls I finally answered it was her ex crying because the whole test was mine to catch him on camera admitting they were still sleeping together. My name is Ryan. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. It's a job that sounds more exciting than it is. Most days, I'm the quiet guy in the corner, the one they call when the printer jams or someone clicks a phishing link. My specialty is penetration testing. My job is to find the company's weaknesses before the bad guys do. I'm good at it because I'm patient. I watch, I listen, and I notice the things people try to hide. I'm the classic quiet strategist, and I am always underestimated. My girlfriend Chloe is a project manager. She's the opposite. She's loud, ambitious, and brilliant at managing perceptions. When we started dating, it worked. I was the calm, stable ground, and she was the fire. But Chloe always wanted more. She was embarrassed by what she called my complacency. She didn't understand why I didn't want to play the political games, why I was happy just being the best at what I did. Then, 6 months ago, Ethan arrived. Ethan was Chloe's ex from college, and he was just appointed as our new chief operating officer. The entire atmosphere of the office changed overnight. Suddenly, Ethan was everywhere. His voice booming in meetings, his expensive suits, his overconfident laugh that echoed down the hall. And Chloe changed. The micro tests, as I called them, started almost immediately. It began with small things. "Ryan, your clothes are a bit technical," she'd say. One morning, eyeing my polo shirt, "You should really try to impress Ethan. Appearance matters." A week later, it escalated. "Hey," she said, "I need you to look at this project deck for me. Ethan's name is on it, and it needs to be absolutely perfect." I did it. I stayed up until 2 a.m. rebuilding her spreadsheets from scratch, finding flaws in the logic, making her look good. I didn't get a thank you. The next day I got a text. "Great." Ethan was pleased. She started asking me to do more and more of her technical work, unpaid, off the clock. All of it was to score points with Ethan. I saw the way she looked at him in meetings, the way she laughed a little too hard at his terrible jokes. I noticed Ethan's subtle condescension towards me. He'd call me the tech guy or specs, and Chloe never defended me. She just smiled. She was embarrassed. I realized she wasn't just ambitious, she was comparing me to him, and I was always coming up short. She said it was career building, she said it was for our future, but I knew what it really was. In her eyes, I was not enough. This went on for months. The pressure built, the distance between us grew. I became the quiet IT guy she was slightly ashamed of. She became the star project manager, rising fast under the new COO's special protection. The tension was getting thick, suffocating. Then, the week of the end-of-year party, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Chloe. "Don't disappoint me tonight. Ethan will be evaluating everyone." I just stared at the message. Evaluating? I knew then that the party wasn't a celebration, it was just another test. Chloe thought I didn't know. She thought I was just the quiet, oblivious IT guy, too busy with my code to notice what was happening right in front of my face. She was wrong. I had known for 3 weeks. It happened at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was working late, not on her projects, but on my own. I was running a routine security sweep of the company servers. A penetration test. My job is to look for doors that people accidentally leave open, and I found one. It was a strange encrypted folder hidden deep on the financial server in a directory it had no business being in. Whoever created it was clever. They knew how to cover their tracks, but they weren't clever enough. They forgot about the administrator account. My account. I decrypted the folder. The name was Project Phoenix. Inside, I found a series of invoices, fake invoices, for a consulting vendor that didn't exist. I saw one payment already processed for $35,000. I saw a second one pending approval for another $15,000. $50,000 stolen. My blood went cold. I scrolled down to the bottom of the invoices. I saw the digital signatures submitted by Chloe. Final approval, Ethan. They weren't just having an affair, they were actively, methodically embezzling money from the company. People say betrayal breaks your heart. For me, it focused my mind. The personal pain, the feeling of being cheated on, it just evaporated. It was replaced by a cold, sharp clarity. This was no longer a relationship. It was a problem. They were a security vulnerability, and my job is to patch the system. I didn't confront her. I didn't say a word. A good engineer doesn't just walk up to a vulnerability and yell at it. He studies it, he understands it, and then he sets a trap. For the next 2 weeks, I started to act. I needed to build a new narrative. I had to become the man they already thought I was: weak, jealous, and insecure. I started with the technical bait. One night working late, I accidentally left my workstation unlocked when I went to grab a coffee. I knew Chloe always walked by my desk on her way out. On my monitor, I left a single file open, a fake text file I had created. I named it phoenixaudittrail.txt. It was completely empty, but the name was all that mattered. When I came back to my desk, she was gone. I didn't need to see her face. I just checked my system's event logs. File accessed phoenixaudittrail.txt. She took the bait. I saw the look in her eyes the next morning, a new kind of panic. She was jumpy. She kept asking me what I was working on. I just smiled and said, "Oh, routine server maintenance." Now I had to add the emotional bait. I had to give them a psychological reason for my sudden interest in Project Phoenix. I waited until we were at home watching a movie. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. She smiled as she read the text. I used a tone I'd never used before. A little sharp, a little weak. "Who was that?" I asked. "Ethan again." She jumped on it, exactly as I knew she would. "What is wrong with you?" she snapped. "Why are you suddenly so jealous? He's my boss, Ryan. I played the part." I looked down. I apologized. "I'm sorry," I said. "I guess I'm just feeling a little insecure lately. He's a lot." It was perfect. I had just handed them a narrative they could understand. In their minds, I wasn't the security engineer who had found their $50,000 embezzlement scheme. I was just the pathetic, jealous boyfriend sniffing around because he was afraid of the new alpha male. Their logic, as I predicted, was textbook manipulation. How do you control a weak, jealous man? You don't reassure him, you don't build him up, you humiliate him. You break him down in public, you make him so small and so scared that he would never dare to challenge you. The end of your party wasn't a celebration, it was their trap designed to put me back in my box. They thought they were the hunters. They thought I was the prey. But while I was monitoring their internal communications, waiting to see how they'd react to my fake log file, I found something else. A new variable. A third player. My colleague Ben, another guy in the IT department. It turns out Ben was smarter than I thought. He had found the vulnerability too. But Ben wasn't interested in justice. He was interested in a payday. I found the messages. Ben blackmailing Chloe and Ethan. He wanted $10,000 to keep his mouth shut. The digital panic was escalating. I watched the data flow. Then I saw the message from Ethan to Chloe. "Fine. We'll pay Ben from the final $15,000 transfer. We'll send it Monday," Chloe replied. "What about Ryan? He's getting suspicious about us." Ethan's reply came a second later. "Don't worry, we'll use the party to handle him. Put him in his place. And once he's dealt with, we'll find a way to handle Ben too, permanently." I closed the log file. My hands were perfectly steady. I realized I wasn't just dealing with two thieves, I was in a tank full of sharks. My simple plan just got complicated. I didn't just need to patch a vulnerability, I needed a much bigger cage. We go back to the party. Ethan is standing there, drink in his hand, that smug, self-satisfied look on his face. He's just finished his joke about my salary. Chloe is at his side, smiling, whispering for me to prove I'm not small-minded. I just watched them, and in that moment, I understood them perfectly. Manipulators have a fatal blind spot. They always mistake silence for weakness. They confuse kindness with stupidity. They can't understand that a person might be quiet not because they have nothing to say, but because they are actively listening, because they are gathering data, and because they are waiting for the perfect moment to patch the system. They thought they were testing a loyal, pathetic boyfriend. They had no idea they were poking a man who already had full administrative rights to their entire con. So I smiled. I said, "You're right. I just need some fresh air." I turned and I walked out of the party. Chloe texted me a few minutes later, "You are so weak. You're embarrassing me." I didn't reply. I was busy. They thought I was defeated, but the trap was already sprung. I didn't need to hack the hotel's security cameras. That's illegal. It's sloppy. I did something much simpler. As the system administrator, I have access to every piece of company-owned hardware. Before the party, I had remotely and silently activated the microphone on two devices: Chloe's company laptop, which I knew was in her hotel room upstairs, and Ethan's company phone, which was in his pocket. It was a perfectly legal internal security audit on company property. I just let the recorders run. I went home, I made a coffee, and I listened to the audio file from later that night. I heard them come back to the room. I heard them laughing. I heard Ethan's voice clear as day. That little IT kid was terrified. He's not going to say a word about Phoenix. He's too scared of me. Then I heard Chloe. Good. I'm so sick of him anyway. Next week, we drain the last $15,000, we pay off Ben, and then I'm dumping Ryan. I can't believe he actually bought that. It's just a test line. They laughed about my clothes, they laughed about my jealousy, they had just handed me a full confession of their conspiracy, their intent to defraud, and their plan to frame me for it. It was everything I needed. Monday morning, 8 o'clock, sharp. I didn't call Chloe, I didn't confront Ethan, I sat at my desk, opened my email client, and I ran my patch. I composed a new message. The recipient list was short and brutal. The entire board of directors, the chief executive officer, and the head of human resources. The subject line was simple, urgent security audit report, Project Phoenix vulnerability and code of conduct violations. My email was professional. To the board, I wrote, following a routine security penetration test, I have uncovered an active embezzlement scheme totaling $50,000 and a related extortion attempt. All evidence is attached for your immediate review. I attached 4 files. Attachment 1, the complete transaction logs for Project Phoenix. All the fake invoices, all the wire transfers. Attachment 2, the internal message logs between Ethan and Chloe discussing the creation of the fake vendor. Attachment 3, the message logs of Ben, my colleague, blackmailing them for $10,000. Attachment 4, the complete audio file in high-definition MP3 format, recorded from their own company devices, confirming their conspiracy to defraud the company and handle me and Ben. My mouse hovered over the button. I took a deep breath. I clicked send. The explosion was immediate. My phone, which had been silent all weekend, started to vibrate so hard it almost fell off my nightstand. I let it buzz. I went and made coffee. I looked at the screen. 50 missed calls, 20 from Chloe, 20 from Ethan, 10 from Ben. A flood of text messages, each one more frantic and desperate than the last. They started with confusion. Ryan, where are you? We need to talk. Then anger. You don't know what you've done, you little idiot. Then finally, pure unfiltered panic. Ryan, please, call me. We can fix this. Please. I watched the messages pour in. I didn't reply to a single one. I just drank my coffee. At 9:30 a.m., a new number called one I recognized from the company directory. It was the head of human resources. I answered. Her voice was tight professional. Ryan, can you please come to the main boardroom immediately? The CEO and the board would like to speak with you. Of course, I said. I'll be right there. I hung up. I took my time walking. I passed Chloe's empty desk. I passed Ethan's dark corner office. The entire floor was silent. Everyone knew something had happened, but no one knew what. I got to the boardroom. The door was closed. 2 corporate security guards I'd never seen before were standing beside it. One of them nodded at me and opened the door. I walked in. It was a full house. The CEO was at the head of the table. The entire board of directors was dialed in on the conference screen. The head of HR was there. And in 3 chairs pushed away from the main table sat Chloe, Ethan, and Ben. Chloe was crying silently, her face pale and swollen. Ethan was bright red, staring at me with a look of pure primal hatred. Ben just stared at the floor, as if he could will himself to disappear through it. I stood there calmly. The CEO looked at me. His face was impossible to read. Ryan, he said, we have reviewed your report and the evidence. He gestured to the 3 of them. You saved this company a significant amount of money and an even greater amount of embarrassment. We thank you for your discretion. Then he turned his gaze to Ethan, Chloe, and Ben. His voice dropped. You 3 are fired effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. Our legal team will be in contact with you regarding prosecution for fraud and conspiracy. Ethan started to stand up to protest. One of the guards put a hand on his shoulder. He sat back down. Chloe just sobbed. The 3 of them were escorted out of the room. I watched them go. When the door closed, the CEO looked back at me. He smiled for the first time. Frankly, Ryan, he said that was the most impressive piece of IT work I've ever seen. He continued, obviously we can't have a vacancy in the C-suite, and we need a head of IT we can trust. The board has authorized me to offer you the position. It comes with Ethan's old office. It was the ultimate prize. The top of the ladder. The thing Chloe had always wanted me to be. I looked at the CEO, and I shook my head. Thank you, sir, I said. It's a generous offer, but I've already accepted a position at another firm. The room was silent. The CEO looked confused, but why? He asked. This is a massive promotion. We're often trapped by outcome bias. We judge a decision based on whether the result was successful. They thought the win was the promotion, the money, the new office. They were wrong. The true value of what I did wasn't in getting a new title, it was in the moment. I chose my own self-respect over their toxic system. The win isn't measured by the bank account. It's measured by the peace you get back. Whether I became head of IT or not didn't matter. The act of protecting my boundaries, of enforcing my own worth, that was the victory. The promotion was just a bonus. And leaving was the reward. I don't think I'm a good fit for the company culture here, I said. I turned and walked out of the boardroom. I walked past my old desk. I didn't even bother to pack it up. I walked out of the front doors of the building into the sunlight. I had just run one final patch. In a world full of loud people, never underestimate the power of the quiet man. They aren't silent because they're weak. They are silent because they are listening. They are gathering data. And they are waiting for the perfect moment to patch the system. Have you ever been in a situation where your silence was mistaken for weakness? Share your story in the comments below. This is Project Checkmate. If you believe in intelligent justice, subscribe. We have more strategies to discuss.